Hi, welcome to our fractions topic. Again, these are old notes with old numbers, so we can get rid of some things here. So this should be fractions and lesson 4. We're talking about simplifying fractions, also known as putting fractions in simplest form, or sometimes you'll hear simplest terms. Taking a fraction and dividing we need to put this in here. Sorry, dividing the numerator and denominator by the greatest common factor. We'll talk about that in a minute. Until you can only divide by 1. Okay. Right? And then the greatest common factor is the largest factor two numbers share. Okay, there's another typo there. Two numbers, obviously. So let's look at our number 4/12. Okay, I'm going to draw that as a picture first, as we've had plenty of practice with. Since it's 12ths, it's probably easier to draw something like this. Add on one more there, and I'll color in 4 of them. Okay, so simplest terms means what's the easiest way to picture this piece. Okay, if I look at it here, I can split this whole thing. Let's say it was a candy bar. Okay, sure, I could eat 4/12 of those little pieces there. 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 12. Or if I took the whole candy bar and just split it here and here, I would have a third. And if I eat that same amount, that would be 1/3. So we see that 4/12 is equal to 1/3. So how do I do that without having to draw a picture? Well, that's our directions we just said. Taking our fraction, we're going to divide the numerator and denominator by the largest factor that both the numerator and denominator share. Okay, so we're going to say what goes into 4 and 12. Well, this one's pretty simple. The largest number they both share is 4. The largest factor they both share. If I divide the numerator and the denominator by the same number, my size doesn't change. Remember, 4/4 is equal to 1. So all I'm really doing is dividing by 1. I'm just changing the way we see the number. Now, 4/12, let's say you didn't see it all in one step. That's okay. You might have noticed they're both even and divided by 2/2 and gotten 2/6. Well, yeah, we can do that. Here's this in our picture, right? There's, okay, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, 2 are shaded in. But that's still not simplest terms. I could still, again, divide by 2/2 and get 1/3. So you can do it in more than one step, but if you can find the greatest common factor and do it in one step, it makes your life a lot easier. Okay. All right, here's some rules to help you out. That would just help you know ahead of time if something's already in simplest form. Obviously, if the numerator is 1, we're in simplest form. I can't divide 1 by anything else but 1. Okay. Also, if the numerator and denominator are 1 apart, okay, for example, 11/12. Okay, you wouldn't need to know, even bother to check. Okay, and it's just, simple logic. Hey, if they're 1 apart, the only real factor that can go into them is 1. So, or if the numerator and denominator are both prime. Remember, prime means the only thing that can go into them are 1 and themselves. So, for example, 7/13. The only thing that goes into 7 is 7 and 1. The only thing that goes into 13 is 13 and 1. So we wouldn't even bother to check. Okay. Now, let's take a look here. 12/20. Right away, I know I can simplify that because they're both even. What goes into that? 2. But let's think. What else might go into that? Well, the largest factor that goes into both is 4. So I would get 3/5. Okay, again, 14 and 18 are both even. So I can divide it by 2/2, or 2/2. Let's be careful not to say we're dividing by 2. That's a totally different situation, which is some enrichment things later. Remember, we're dividing by 2/2, which is dividing by 1. So our answer stays the same. We're just thinking about it differently. Simplest form basically means the largest pieces I can have, the fewest pieces. 14/18 is the same thing, just in 14/18 I have smaller pieces and more of them. Okay, 8/9 is already in simplest form because they're 1 apart. Now, notes here. There may be other times that fractions are in simplest form, but don't fit those situations above. Here's one example. 9/16. Okay. Yes, 9 is prime. 9's not prime. 16's not prime. They're not 1 apart. But it still doesn't fit because the only thing that goes into 9, the factors of 9 are 1, 3, and 9. The factors of 16 are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. They don't have anything in common. Hey, look at that. Remember when we were learning our division facts? Finding factors? That will help you, that skill of listing the factors. All right, so you try some. Simplify these. Pause the video, then come back and check. All right, welcome back. Okay, 6/8 is even. I can simplify that to 3/4. 12 and 14, both even. I can divide by 2/2. 6/7. 5/6 is already in simplest form. 4/12. 4 goes into both of those. 1/3. 9/16, so that's the example I just gave you on the other page, already in simplest form. 10/15. 5 goes into both of those, so that would be 2/3. Okay, if you need to do this to help you keep a track, go ahead and do it. If you can do it mentally, that's fine too. Right? So that's pretty much it. Again, you might get some harder ones. You might see something like 63/81, and you might panic at first. Those are 2 big numbers. Okay, but remember what we learned about your divisibilities. Okay? Hey, look, 6 plus 3 is 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. Oh, 9 goes into both of those. Okay? So that would be 7/9. Right? Okay, that's it. If you have any questions, please make sure you come see me and ask.